Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the Libra Astrologer. And when I'm talking about the Libra Astrologer, I'm talking generally about how I believe the Libra person is as an astrologer. And yes, it does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, when you have a Libra astrologer, if you have somebody that you have a personal astrologer that does charts for you and transit reports, and you're consistent with them or what have you. The Libra astrologer is going to be very charming, often very polite and diplomatic. They often have very refined taste. And remember that Libra is an air sign, so they could be very articulate and have literary skills and abilities. Their reports will often be well worded, and if they do it, whether it's in written form or they're doing YouTube astrology videos, they will often express themselves very readily and they're readily understood. And likely, I mean, Libra, of course, would like to give a balanced report, I would say, more so than the other zodiac signs on average, because the Libra is the symbols are the scales. They are about balancing things, and they'll often disperse an even amount of energy into various aspects and parts of your chart. I mean, if you're they might put an even amount as far as your romantic life. It could be dealing as far as your career goes, yourself in general, your friends, things, your interactions, your social things that are, it just, they like to just kind of balance things out often very evenly. And they'll often, when they're going to explain something, if there's something of a negative nature, adverse nature in your chart, they'll often explain it in a very tactful and diplomatic manner. They're not ones that are going to be say something in a way where it might come across as offensive to you. They are considerate in terms of how they're going to present something. And the thing about Libra astrologers too is that how I see them is that when Libra astrologers, I could see them being very proficient, like in relationship synastry compatibility astrology, because it is the sign, of course, that is synonymous with relationships. And they're the ones that could often do like that a good report for you in terms of when you may be married. It's say if you're hypothetically, if you're unattached at the time or you don't have a significant other, you're not married, they're the ones that might be able to have might be most adept at finding that time when you can possibly be married or find that elusive love in one's life, or what have you. Now, the thing about it is, given that Libra is also the sign of partnerships, they would be ones that would often may want to collaborate with somebody else in terms, whether it might be a collaboration YouTube video, or it might be like a astrology business partnership, or even collaborating even on a report from time to time for somebody, because they often feel like they gotta have somebody else with them to do certain things. They just like to do things often with another person, and or maybe even more than one other person, as opposed to doing things solo. And the thing about Libra, what's I believe too, I mean, of course, well, we all know that Libra can be very equitable and very fair. They're as far as pricing goes for astrology charts, their pricing, I would say, on average, would be reasonable and fair. Of course, and it would be often if proportionate with whatever is you're going to be getting. So, in terms of a report, whether it would be is some basic just natal chart overview report on your chart, or a synastry report, or what have you, or transit report for the coming year. They are ones that will often be reasonable and fair-minded with their prices. They are about justice. They like to have things done in a fair manner. Libra also too, the thing about them, one negative is that Libra, of course, could be rather ambivalent and indecisive. And sometimes this could manifest in being ambivalent and decisive about what astrological branch to get into. If Libra is first starting out in their beginnings as an astrologer, and they're anxious to start out somewhere, they may not always be very decisive initially about what astrological branch to actually get into, because they're Libra's about weighing the pros and cons of things, of course, and they'll often be weighing the pros and cons of so many different branches until they may eventually do ultimately come to a decision on that. Now, another thing about Libra that we know is that, I mean, Libra can be very enamored with art. So they are often very artistic. They may often incorporate something artistic in their, whether it's a YouTube video or whether it's in some written report. They might have very pristine astrological wallpaper at home, or maybe there might be some pictures in their home that they hang that are astrology related, that are artwork that is connected with astrology. And if somebody is Libra's doing a YouTube video, they may be more inclined than most to put some kind of artistic graphics, style called stellar artistic graphics in their videos. Perhaps Libra is very enamored with things that are very aesthetically appealing, and again, they are often infatuated with art. And the thing about it too is with Libra that understand, of course, they are about peace and tranquility. They're like Taurus. Libra will often be rather adverse to contentious or acrimonious situations. So if you're in a situation where there's some domestic strife or discord at your home, and you're bringing a Libra astrologer there, it might not be the best thing to do, and you might prefer to have the reading done at Libra's residence or some other location, because Libra is often, again, they often have aversion to things of any kind of argument or any kind of discord or strife. So anyway, now the thing about another thing too is that Libra is the sign connected with negotiation, and sometimes Libra may be willing to negotiate a price with you if you're not able to afford something and you just want to spend, like, say, $5 less on something. It's a minimal difference that you want to spend on something, and it's just a little bit less than what Libra is asking for in terms of an astrological report. Libra may be willing to bend a little for you, but they often won't break, because Libra is about fairness, and they want to be fair-minded to themselves as well as the other person. So, and the thing about Libra too is that they can be very persuasive as well, and if they're trying to, advertise or sell their charts, they have a way where they can could be very good at bringing the people in to as far as their business, and stimulating astrological business, because they can be very persuasive, and they have that way where we're obviously, being an air sign, they could have very good literary ability, very good diction, and this could help them out as far as that goes. Now, and also too, I noticed that with Libra, that the zodiac sign Gemini often falls on the ninth house cusp in a solar natal chart. And keep in mind that the ninth house can be connected with advertising. You have the third in publishing. You have Gemini often on the ninth house cusp, so that's obviously a way with words, and you can understand why Libra can really show very good diction in those in terms of advertising something. And it would be, and in this case, it would be astrology is what I'm referring to as far as this example, and explain things in a very articulate manner. Now, another thing about what I wanted to say is that Braca Goldsmith, where she's a Libra sun, and she seems to epitomize very strong Libra energy in her videos. She appears to be very charming and very cheerful, amiable nature. It seems like when in her videos, they do have a very tranquil and peaceful kind of element and atmosphere. And also, Libras can be very good moderators, so they could be the ideal person or people for moderation, being moderators on, say, like Facebook astrology pages, because they're about, they could often diffuse situations. They're about peace and harmony, and having and members being treated fairly. So this is that's pretty much it, people. And anyway, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.